Hello everyone. Welcome to Seasoned and Smart. I'm Marge DiVirgilio. I'm a program manager at Greater Lynn Senior Services. Today our topic is mobility links. Navigate your options. And we have Lauren Henderson-Pierce, who is our Senior Options and Travel Counselor. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Today it's a little different subject because it's about transportation, which is very, very important. Give us a little bit of history about how this got started, where it started, and how are we using it in the community.
Well, Mobility Links is a decision support service that's available for people that need transportation, but also need the decisions and the support in order to get the transportation. It's a little bit different than just calling for a taxi or calling for a transportation company to pick them up. When you call a counselor, you can discuss where you want to go, whether you need a companion, whether you have a service dog. The counselor can talk with you about those needs and find a transportation company that can best fit those needs. Mm-hmm. A lot of people may not realize that they have needs. Sometimes they think that I just need to be picked up at point A and brought to point B. However, when you have a conversation with a consumer, you're realizing there's a little bit more to the story and a little bit more to the transportation needs.
I'm sure you as the counselor, you're getting a lot of stories and you're hearing the need of the client, the consumer.
Absolutely. The transportation is a huge need that's out there, and to be able to look in our database and pull out community-based transportation companies that can provide the transportation, it's huge. We don't have to go searching for it. It's right there, so it's very easy for somebody to call, let me know where they're going, when they need to go. Is it a medical appointment or is it something that they just want to do for fun? And we would be able to find them the transportation.
So a person can use this option for having fun also. It's not just for medical use.
Absolutely, and I think that that's what a lot of consumers that I've spoken to are thinking, that whenever they need transportation, it's just got to be for medical. And they forget that there's other things to life than your medical appointments.
Right, because at Greater Lynn Senior Services, we offer the T-Ride.
Right.
And we offer medical transportation.
Exactly.
But sometimes that's not always appropriate for the consumer.
Right.
And this is where they can call the options counselor.
Absolutely. We have people that aren't eligible for the ride, so that they will call for transportation, or people that are still driving but maybe have to go into Boston for medical appointments, and they don't leave the city that they live in, so that they will call us and ask for transportation for one time only to Boston. Some people may have a medical procedure so that they can't drive.
They can't drive.
They can give us a call and we can arrange for transportation, or if needed, a companion to bring them and be there for them.
That's an important piece also.
It's a huge piece.
Because sometimes someone broke an arm, broke a leg, and really need assistance, not only physically but emotionally.
Absolutely. A big one what we're seeing is cataract surgery. A lot of people who can drive but are going in for cataract surgery, well, when you leave having cataract surgery, you can't drive yourself home.
Of course not.
So that's a big one where a lot of people will use the Mobility Links 1-800 number.
That's a wonderful situation to bring that up. I wanted to mention about Mobility Links and who's involved in this.
Right.
It's made possible through a grant from the Federal Transit Administration and is offered in conjunction with Greater North Shore on the Move, a task force of the Aging and Disability Resource Consortium of the Greater North Shore that includes the Beverly Council on Aging, Elder Service Plan of the North Shore, Greater Lynn Senior Services, the Independent Living Center of the North Shore, and Cape Ann, Mystic Valley Elder Services, North Shore Career Center, and North Shore Elder Services. I was curious to ask you, are there other counselors in the area? I'm sure with all these agencies involved. Are you the only counselor, or are there other counselors?
Right now, myself, and we are hiring for a new position. And right now that's what we have, but we are growing the program. So down the road, that could be something that we look into. I also want to mention that the options counselors, myself, and the new person that is hired, they're trained as options counselors, and that really is part of the key of being a transportation counselor, is knowing what other options besides transportation that are available in the community that can be discussed when somebody calls.
Well, this is what makes you an expert, is knowing your resources.
Well, it definitely helps.
Knowing
it definitely
your
helps to
resources.
know the resources.
Is it available for all the communities? I mean, part of all the North Shore communities?
Right now it is. We have stuff in our different towns in our database. We're moving into Beverly. Actually, we did a presentation in Beverly. We are now moving to Salem in the Danvers area. And so that right now is where we are. We started off slow, and we're gradually, with the need, are building it up.
Wonderful. What's the age that a person can be to call you for their options?
Any age.
Any age?
Any age.
Great.
Yes.
Great. And the 1-800 number, they can get that. Today we're going to, of course, give them their number, and as we grow and you go in the community to do presentations, this is how, there is a little brochure here we're showing, so it is a very pretty one too. I think you're going to do a little presentation now to show us the videos that we have. We have a couple of videos that we will show. Tell us about the videos.
Well, one of the videos is an example of a conversation that could be had with a transportation counselor. And then we also brought a video of the director of Beverly Council on Aging. She has had, we have gone out there, I should say, to do a presentation to the consumers to talk about using the 1-800 number.
1-800
and we've
number.
also talked to the professional staff or professionals, if you will, about the program and how they can utilize it.
Great, wonderful. I think we're going to show those videos now, so we'll be back after we show the videos.
Mobility Counseling, this is Lauren.
This is the place I called to find out about getting transportation.
Yes, it is.
Okay, my name is Sophie Waterman, and I'm calling because I need transportation to a doctor's appointment this Friday.
Okay, so this Friday is April 22nd?
Yes.
What time is your appointment, Sophie?
It's at 3 o'clock.
Okay. And Sophie, where are you coming from? What town do you live in?
I live in Lynn, and I'll be coming from home. I live at 87 Van Morrison Boulevard.
Okay. And where is your doctor's appointment?
My doctor is in Danvers, and he's at 159 Maple Street.
Now, is this a new doctor's appointment? Do you think you might need to be there a little bit earlier, or is 3 o'clock an okay time for you to arrive?
It's okay. It's actually a doctor's appointment I've postponed many times. I've been seeing this doctor for a number of years. I have a very severe chronic condition, and I have had to postpone my appointment because I haven't been able to get a ride to see him. And they called, and they are a little angry with me.
So it's very important that we get you there and on time for
Yes.
Friday. Okay. So what I'm going to do is we have a computer system that I can put all your information in, and we can get some transportation companies that can provide the transportation. I just need a few more bits of information, if you don't mind. Do you have a few minutes so we can talk about that?
I do. I do. I appreciate it. You think you'll be able to help me?
I think that we will be able to help you. No, don't worry about it, okay?
Well, I'm worried because I used to rely on my sister to drive me around, but she moved to go live with her daughter in New Jersey, and even though my sister was a terrible driver, she was who was able to get me where I needed to go.
Right. You still were able to rely on her, even though you were a little nervous about making it safely. You got there.
I did, and
right.
She would take me places, and to tell you the truth, part of my concern about going to the doctor is I often don't get very good news there, and she would always come with me and make it kind of fun afterwards or before. We'd have lunch together.
So do you have anybody now that can go with you to doctor's appointments?
Oh, no.
No?
There really isn't anyone. I didn't realize it would be quite so lonely after my sister left.
Yeah. that's a big void when somebody you spend a lot of time with moves away. Have you thought about maybe going with a companion? We have companion services that can accompany you to your visits. If you'd like, they can be there with you in the doctor's office, or they can just be with you, wait for you in the waiting room.
Oh, I hadn't heard about that. Can you give me information about that?
I certainly can. I actually brought up on the computer some of the transportation companies, and if you would like, there's quite a few of them. Is it possible to maybe call you back and leave a message? Do you have an answering machine?
I do, but I'd be nervous that I wouldn't understand everything. Could you call me also? I'll listen to them, and maybe if I have questions, would you call me after so we can talk it through?
I definitely can give you a call back. I will, leave it, when we're done with this conversation, I will give you some time to listen to it, write some of the things down, and then I can give you a call back and we can discuss it in more depth about the specific companies.
That would be great, and then maybe even if you could print it out and mail it to me, that would be good too, if there was time.
I can certainly print it out and mail it to you as well, so you can have the copy that I mail, and then the piece on the answering machine.
That would be great, Lynn. I'm very appreciative. As I said, I've been afraid really to go out on my own, and I really, I have a condition. I don't want to sound like I'm whiny, but I do have a condition, and I've been so afraid.
Well, you had mentioned in the beginning about missing your doctor's appointments.
Yes.
That's been an ongoing issue for you?
I think they're a little angry with me, and I feel badly because they've been so good to me over the years.
Have you been having a hard time managing your health?
I feel like I haven't been doing as well as I should.
Because here at the agency, we have what's called a My Life, My Health class. That what it does is people with chronic illnesses meet once a week, and they learn how coping skills when you have a chronic disease, how you can deal with that on a daily basis. They teach you ways of talking with your doctor to kind of get the best benefit when you go for a doctor's appointment. So those doctor's appointments that you've been missing, you can maybe shorten them and condense them because you already know what you want to ask him and what information you want to get out of that visit.
But I would need a ride. I wouldn't be able to go without a ride. Is there a way to have someone take me there? Maybe would that companion person come with me?
Yes, we could definitely help you make those arrangements, whether it be the transportation company that's going to continue bringing you to the doctor, or a different transportation company, or the companion themselves could bring you to that.
Oh,
would you like?
Well, I would love to hear more about that. I think I could really use some help. I'm feeling very lonely.
But this will also get a chance to get out of the house, socialize with some people. What I'll do is I will mail you the flyer. There will be a class starting the 1st of May, and registration is happening through the rest of this week. So if you want, when I call you back, we can talk about registering you for the class and talking about the transportation to get you to those appointments.
That would be wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm so glad I called. I wasn't even sure that I should, but Lauren, you've been very dear. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Before you hang up, I need a little bit more information. I need your phone number so that I can call you.
That's silly of me.
That's quite all right.
Hello, I'm Susan Brown, and I'm here with Marianne, who's the Executive Director here at the Beverly Council on Aging. And I want to thank you so much for inviting us here so we could do the taping right here on location.
Thank you, Susan, for traveling to Beverly to meet with me today on a topic that is near and dear to my heart, transportation. So I'm delighted to have an opportunity to speak with you.
Good.
What is it about transportation that is important to you? Why is it important to you?
Well, I've been the director of the Senior Center in the Council on Aging for the past 6 years. And what I learned early on is transportation is not just a ride. It's a means to independence for many seniors who would be homebound without that ride to the grocery store, to the hairdresser, to the doctor's appointment, or of course to the Council on Aging and Senior Center for activities.
So there are a lot of things that people are interested in about how they can get where it is they want to go, not just medical, but all those other social, as you said, social experiences too, which are so important.
And I want to say that every time I conduct a meeting about transportation, I always lead with that question: how many of you are planning on giving up your license anytime soon? And there's only a handful of brave individuals who even halfway lukewarmly raise their hand to that question. So the car is the most important means of transportation for many of our seniors, but there also are a whole group, a generation of seniors who never learned how to drive. They let their husbands do the driving. There's also people who, because of chronic medical conditions, are unable to drive. And so transportation again becomes important, and options are also very important.
Well, and I think that's, you know, as you say that, I think that's true for a lot of us. We don't like to think about the point at which we may not be able to drive, and so we're not really ready to kind of look at options, but at the same time, either for folks who are caring for a family member or a person who's getting older themselves, that's a critical piece. And, you know, our topic here is mobility links, so sort of how does that fit kind of with what some of the concerns are that you're expressing?
Well, you know, there is that paradox that people want to continue to drive, but the research is saying that most individuals will outlive their ability to drive by 10 or 11 years. So even if they're not planning today, there will be a point in their lives where they may have to rely on other means of transportation other than their own personal car. And so the beauty of Mobility Links is that the staff are already doing the work for us. They're doing the research, they're figuring out the options, and with a simple 800 toll-free number, a senior can call and talk about their transportation needs and actually get a personalized listing of all the different transportation options available in the community. And I might add, for those people who are still driving, you may find that even though you may have to pay for some of those options, it's a lot more economical than paying for the gas, the repairs, the wear and tear on your own personal vehicle.
Well, and that's certainly true, and I know in watching this video that just preceded us with Sophie and Lauren talking, that it was not just the transportation, as you said before, but it was Lauren being able to pick up on the fact that Sophie was, her life had changed and she needed some help in terms of either the companionship or someone who could kind of make the trip a little more fun, or in the end maybe a group or other kind of educational program that might help her as well. So like you said, it's not just the getting from here to there and the vehicle or how you do it, but through Mobility Links, people also get a chance to talk about what some of their other areas of their life that they could, you know, do some different things that benefit their life. So the whole package, I think, is really important.
Oh, I agree, and I'll be the first to admit that I'm one of those hardy New Englanders who doesn't want to own up that I might need some help sometimes. But I do believe that we all need help, and we want our communities to be livable for the people in those communities. And we don't want to think of somebody being isolated in their homes when there are options for them to get out and about. And so the Mobility Links program can really be that, I guess I'll call it a vehicle for people to find ways to move beyond their own homes out into the community.
Absolutely true, all of it, and I want to thank you so much for being on. It's been great talking with you. And
wonderful. Enjoy.
It gets me thinking about my future too.
So as you can see from the video that Mary Ann Holak was discussing, Mobility Links also has an educational component as well. we are able to go out and talk to consumers about their driving and about when they're willing to give up their car keys. We can go out and talk to them about the cost of driving, the insurance piece, so they can kind of get a sense of, is it economical for me to continue using my car and driving my car, or could I use that money and use it to pay for transportation for when I need it, how I need it. That is a piece of the educational component that we have.
And that's a big piece, because when a consumer calls you and to talk about, well, gee, are you still driving? Are you going to continue to drive?
Right.
Is it safe to be
Right.
driving? I mean, those issues will come up during a conversation.
They definitely do, and then a lot of people will talk about how expensive it is to pay for their insurance and the repairs to a vehicle. So this driving cessation,
yeah.
thank you, helps people recognize the costs. It's right there in black and white, and compare it to paying for transportation.
Right.
So we have a woman that works with us, Liz Bulkley, who you can call at 603-303-1996, and you can discuss with her or arrange for her to come out, talk to you about when you want to set up a community educational project.
And is this, would it be a group educational project? Is it just you that will be going out and doing an
It can be
in-service?
a group to do an in-service. Yes, it would be at a group setting like a senior center. You can discuss it with the director of the senior center. They could come out and do it there.
And I wonder if, like in the community, would like hospitals be interested in doing a presentation to staff, to their staff, so they know that this is available?
It's certainly something that we could go out and talk to them about, absolutely.
I see.
Absolutely.
Where have you done some of the in-services at this point?
We have done it at the Beverly Council on Aging, the Saugus Council on Aging, and the Lynnfield Council on Aging.
Oh, great.
Yes.
Good. Don't forget Lynn. We've got ours, too.
And
Yes.
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 Did we do,
Did we do Lynn?
I don't know if we've done Lynn yet.
Well, there's an option there you might
There
want to
you
think
go.
about.
We'll have to put
because
that on the calendar.
We have, you know, a very large elderly population. And you said the age for this is no age. You
No
can
age.
call you and get information about what's available.
Right. And I take that back. We have done it in the Lynn Council
good.
on Aging.
Okay,
yes,
that's
we
good.
have.
There is a cost for this, though. I mean, people have to understand they're calling you and they're going to get different options
Right.
of how to get to where they want to go, whether it be a
Right.
medical or a fun time or
Absolutely.
to the hairdressers or to the barber shop. They are going to pay for this service.
Absolutely. The transportation companies all have their own set
Their own fees.
rates, and we can discuss that. You know, going to Boston could be a $75 trip round trip.
Yep.
Then we could have local from Swampscott to Danvers. That could be anywhere from $12 to $20, depending on where you're going within those towns.
Do you find that sometimes the families are willing to help elders pay for the trip?
Absolutely. We have a lot of consumers that their daughter is not able to provide the transportation anymore because of a job. And so the daughters or the family members are there to help pay.
Isn't that, that's great.
Yeah.
That's exactly
Yeah.
what we need. Because, like you mentioned, it's the cost of their own car, the insurance, which is horribly, terribly high,
Yep.
and just the aggravation if someone has to go into Boston. I don't like to drive into Boston myself.
Not too many people do.
So I would think that for an elder, that would be a real task. That's a real
Absolutely.
task. And to ask, you know, a family member to take some time off, which if you're going into Boston, it's going to be 3 hours maybe
Right.
4 hours.
Right.
And by the time you have the stress of going into Boston, waiting for the person to be finished with their medical appointment, and taking them back, I mean, that's quite a day, a chunk of time out of your day.
What we're also finding is this 1-800 number is giving consumers back their independence. They don't have to call their loved one and burden them. And that's their words, not mine, that a lot of times they don't want to have to call their daughter again.
Right.
And they're using their loved ones for doctor's appointments, but then they want to go to the senior center or they want to go to the mall, but they don't want to burden their family. So this 1-800 number really gives back the independence. Somebody can pick up the phone and arrange their own transportation when they want it.
Is there a number you could just mention?
There is a number. It's 1-888-499-5555. 5324.
Well, that's wonderful, and I hope that everybody in the listening audience today has gotten benefit from this, because I'm sure they have, because it's a new option for people, anybody who needs to get transportation. Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. Happy New Year.